Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, August 17th, 2016. Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Assembly Speaker Ilir Mehta expressed optimism today for continued consensus in adopting the vetting law for judges and prosecutors. Mr. Mehta appeared hopeful that the opposition will keep its commitment towards adopting the laws. The Assembly Speaker expressed his belief that the vetting law and the other two laws that form the emergency package for implementing the judicial reform will be adopted by August 30th. The ad hoc commission is working for the judicial reform, he said. The opposition representatives presented their opinion on vetting, and Euralis and Optat are giving their comments on the issue. I would like to gather the plenary session very soon, but it depends on the progress of the commission's work. I hope the work continues with the constructive spirit. We will soon set a date for adopting the vetting law and another date for adopting the two other laws before August 30th. And then we will continue with the other laws in order to completely adopt the 7 laws, said Mehta. The Assembly Speaker declared that the President was right in not drawing lots to appoint members to the Council of Judicial Appointments, but he did not comment whether he will exercise the competence that the Constitution gives him. I think the President has acted with responsibility. It's a legal vacuum, and this part should be solved, added the Assembly Speaker. When asked about the September 11th elections in Dibur, Mr. Mehta asked politicians to treat them as local elections and not as national ones, and offered support for the majority's candidate. The Ad Hoc Commission on Judicial Reform held a meeting today to discuss the vetting law. Euralis and Optat representatives, along with reps from the majority and opposition, all attended the commission's meeting. After the meeting, the Euralis and Optat experts gave their comments regarding the Democratic Party's opinion on the vetting law for judges and prosecutors. Euralis made the main pillar of its review public on its official webpage. The Ad Hoc Parliamentary Committee gathered to discuss the vetting implementation draft law. Contrary to the ideas proposed by the opposition, Euralis pointed out 4 principles that are crucial for EU engagement in the vetting process, emphasizing A, a timeline or a calendar for each individual case may not exist. B, the vetting process used the existing information, files, administration structures, in particular HIDAACI. C, the role of the International Monitoring Mission may not be reduced. D, the justice collaborators are deemed an important tool to enter into corruptive practices and to obtain relevant evidences. On the other hand, Optat explains the background checking design is based on the USA, EU, or NATO standards, according to which one body collects the information and the other one, the vetting commission, makes the decision. Meanwhile, the Socialist MP Pandeli Maiko told journalists after the meeting that the institution which will check the wealth of judges and prosecutors will be the High Inspectorate of Declaration and Audit of Assets and Conflict of Interest, and by the Security Directory of Classified Information. The Democratic Party rejects the checking being made by these institutions as it claims they are under government's independency. The Socialist MP was asked about the role of the International Monitoring Mission, for which he said it will have the same role predicted in the Constitution. The Democrat MP Bullock Bashi appeared content before the journalists and said that Euralis experts have taken a part in the DP opinions into consideration. Now the local experts are expected to work based on Euralis and Optat remarks so that the parties reach a final draft and send that to Parliament before the end of August. Democratic Party Chairman Lulzum Basha said there is no money for citizens as €1 billion is stolen and misused every year by tax and custom directories or misused for concessions. In a Facebook post, the Democratic Party chairman wrote, Eddie Rama has publicly acknowledged his corruption bill, which directly affects the citizens. Rama says we cannot construct streets because there is no money. €1 billion are being stolen each year in tax and custom directories. These monies are taken from Albanian taxpayers and are not invested for citizens. Rama says there is no money for water, supplies, and roads. There is no money for medicines and economic aid, for pension and wage growth. This is because of corruption, wrote the DP chairman, adding to the post that there is no money for the citizens, but there is money for Rama and his robbers. The vice chairman of the Parliamentary Security Commission, Flamur Noca, sent a letter to the Italian ambassador, Alberto Coutinho, asking for information regarding Guardia di Finanza's monitoring of drug plantations from the air, as according to him, the Albanian government is hiding information. Noca claims that the Security Commission should have the monitoring report from the Guardia di Finanza monitoring. Noca notes that the government and Edi Rama tend to hide monitoring results of the terrain obtained from the air, and it is in the best interest of the public and in the interest of national security that the committee obtains these images from this monitoring. The vice chairman of the Security Committee has also addressed the Italian ambassador with a request on April 19th of this year to photograph drug plots from the air as soon as possible, according to an agreement the Italian and Albanian government signed in 2011. State police reacted to the Democratic Party letter stating that there is no secret report about the cultivation of cannabis in Albania. There is no secret report. These lies are spread with the intention to denigrate our work, says the state police communication. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden visited Kosovo today, where he held meetings with the Prime Minister and the President. The U.S. Vice President called for the respect of agreements signed in Brussels and for continued dialogue with Serbia. During the joint press conference with Kosovo's president, the U.S. Vice President declared that it's difficult to leave the past behind, but according to him, it's the only path towards a better future. I am confident that the years, decades, and centuries filled with hostility can be overcome. The only way to move forward is peace, dialogue, and normalizing relations. Regarding the dialogue in Brussels, civil associations and municipalities with the majority of the Serb population should be established. It will be difficult, but it is a necessary thing. You have made some commitments in Brussels, which should be met. Also, the border agreement with Montenegro should be seen with priority, Biden said. Furthermore, Mr. Biden urged the promotion of economic development, the continued fight against corruption and organized crime, stressing that in this way, Kosovo will create the right environment to attract foreign investors. Regarding the political situation in the country, he said that violence is unacceptable and urged dialogue between the parties. In closing, the U.S. Vice President confirms that the U.S. will stand by Kosovo in its democratic development. Earlier, Mr. Biden met with Kosovo's Prime Minister. In a media statement, the Prime Minister said that they had a fruitful bilateral meeting. He added that Biden's visit will have a positive impact on further strengthening the friendship and strategic partnership between Kosovo and the U.S. On August 1st, the Tax Directory launched their sales receipt operation. According to some data, the Tax Directory has checked 6,600 businesses around the country. The Directory's Vice General Director says a variety of problems have been found in businesses which were checked. He adds that the inspectors have not imposed fines, as the aim of this operation is to sensitize business owners to use the cash register and issue sales receipts and not impose fines at this time. The Vice Director of the Tax Directory said that businesses have reacted positively to the campaign and are aware of the need to use the cash register. The sales receipt sensitizing campaign will continue until the end of August. The structure of tax investigation has also been engaged in this operation, especially in the coastal areas where abuse of prices and sales receipts are more present during the tourist season. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.